right, it's another beautiful Sunday, day number 15 in the month of December 2024. Good evening and welcome to Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television. Iron Port is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, GWEL PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, MPS, and Phoenix Insurance. The show is proudly powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GPHA. And our media partner is the Business and Financial Times, the BNFT. Now, if you want to have a grasp of all that transpired in the show tonight, make a date and grab the Thursday edition of the BNFT, and you'll be able to see all that happened here on the show. Tonight, we are streaming live on our social media pages. On Facebook, we are streaming live at Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Still on Facebook, we are live at Port of Tema. And on YouTube, we are streaming live at Iron Port. Iron Port. Now, we shall be getting interactive with you, and so all you have to do is sit back, relax, grab your phones, and send us your messages and comments via our dedicated WhatsApp line, which is 0538 037353, 0538 037353. Now, when the time is ripe and I pick signals from the production team, we shall activate the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. My name is Kennedy Mona. We are going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue the show. Please stay with us.
Good energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP. Available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP, Wufilia, huh? Wubefi. Goil, good energy. Yeah, yeah.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water. Or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
All right, so welcome back. It's now time for us to take a look at happenings in the port and shipping industry during the week. Now, last week, the Ghana Institute of Trade Forwarders and the Customs Brokers Association of Ghana held their annual general meetings, one in Tema, the other in Hu. We'll bring you details pretty shortly. We also have some news on the Tema-Mpakadan railway line and port security for you as well. Please enjoy.
The newly commissioned standard gauge railway line and state-of-the-art diesel multiple unit trains, commissioned by President Nana Akufo-Addo last month, are expected to begin operations for commuters along the Tema-Mpakadan route by the end of next week, according to the Ghana Railway Development Authority. In anticipation of this, the Ministry of Railway Development, in collaboration with its agencies, hosted a media-exclusive tour of the railway line and DMU trains on Friday, November 29, 2024, offering journalists a first-hand experience of the modern facilities. The tour began at the Tema Harbour train station, where participants explored the new DMU trains designed for efficiency, comfort, and convenience. Boasting a passenger-friendly interior, the trains promise to elevate the standards of road transport in Ghana. Additionally, journalists inspected key ancillary facilities critical to the railway's operations, including maintenance and safety infrastructure. Speaking to the media, representatives from the Ghana Railway Development Authority reaffirmed the government's commitment to expanding the nation's railway infrastructure, highlighting the railway's potential to support both economic growth and environmental sustainability.
The fares will be announced next week. The cards that was introduced to you will be available at all the agencies of Ghana Railway. It will be available at the Ministry of Railway and at the stations from next week. The fares will be pasted at the stations. It's not more than the vehicle fares that you take. The fares were pegged exactly at the vehicle fares. So it is not going to be any different. So expect these trains to be on the Tema-Mpakadan line next week. I'm not giving a date because of certain technical challenges that we are facing. And if that is resolved by Monday, don't be surprised to see these trains on the track on Monday.
And then, of course, we're going to focus extensively on safety. The indiscipline on our part as citizens is way too much. When it comes to railways, there are lots of safety measures. We'll make sure that all those safety measures are ensured. And then also we are appealing to Ghanaians. This is a good thing for our country. Regardless of our political color, regardless of our political divide, it is important that we all see to it that this train system benefits all of us and our generations to come.
The revamped shuttle service will also feature a modern, efficient tap-and-go e-ticketing system.
With your card, you can just place, the conductor will just take your card, assuming you have funds on it, and just place it on the POS, and you can just take it off. So once you take it off, it prints the receipt for you. That shows the time that you got on the train and where you are going to the destination. So you can just take it right here. Okay, so assuming maybe the person is not going to the final destination, but maybe might alight at Ashaiman. Okay, so once the person gets to Ashaiman, the person is alighted, the person can also now tap on the card. So the card tap on the POS. Once the person tap on the POS, it will deduct the same exact amount. It's not going to be like a fixed amount. So let's say you are going to POM, which is 12 CD or something. So when you alight at Ashaiman with the location, it will deduct that same amount from your card, and then you get that same receipt, and then you can now alight.
During a question and answer session with the journalist, the Director for Policy Planning, Research, Monitoring and Evaluation, Alamin Isaac Alasan, lamented some challenges emerging along the railway route.
The state has sunk close to $480 million to build the infrastructure we're using today and we're seeing today. And no sooner had they completed that, issues began to erupt. We have cases of squatters. As we drove along, We've seen people that have breached the fences and are actually building on the embankments of the railway line. These are significant concerns for operational situations when the trains begin running on the lines. We have issues of safety and security, and these are very concerning to us as an agency of the ministry. Secondly, the tracks that we see, people are now taking out, people who deal with metal scraps and others are stealing the fish plates. These are parts of the infrastructure that we need. It's part of the tracks that we need to have safe operations of the train. So it is concerning that no sooner had we finished something this big, people are back on the line stealing what the state has sunk a lot of money to build. And we would want you in the media to take this across and pass it on to the rest of us, all of us Ghanaians, to be proud of what we have and show some patriotism.
The Customs Brokers Association Ghana, CUBAG, has successfully held its 2024 annual general meeting, bringing together stakeholders from various agencies, council members, the National Executive Committee, and CUBAG members. This year's theme, Together Towards Tomorrow, Innovative Pathways to Success, underscored the importance of forging strong partnerships to harness the benefits of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. It also highlighted the need for integrating risk assessment, reducing vulnerabilities, and advancing digitalization and data-driven business models. In his welcome address, the president of CUBAG, Nana Frejua Jemanoforiata, revealed that the association has successfully completed the development and adoption of its own terms and conditions for accepting cargo for its corporate members.
This document, at the minimum, satisfies the tenets of an STC, but more importantly, provides a legal basis for the development of specialized insurances for our members. And out of this STC, we have successfully curated a bouquet of 7 different insurance products that will go a long way to improve services, provide security, indemnify against legal liability in the line of work, and ensure the well-being of our members.
He said, more than ever, the industry needs to adopt innovative measures to respond and adapt to disruption to supply chain and economic volatility.
In addition to the heightened geopolitical risk that we all know of, the Ukraine-Russian war and the climate-induced factors, the sector needs to address and navigate macroeconomic uncertainty, the increasingly inward-looking policies and protectionist measures, shifts in supply chain design and globalization patterns, and the new consumption and spending habits amid a growing electronic commerce.
Representing the Commissioner of Customs at the Ghana Revenue Authority, Brigadier General Bawa Zibrim Ayorogo, Deputy Commissioner Emmanuel Ohene underscored the significance of collective efforts in shaping the future of trade.
Collaboration is no longer optional. It is essential. Today's interconnected trade ecosystem requires that we move beyond siloed approaches and embrace partnerships that foster mutual benefit. For customs and brokers alike, this means upholding compliance while ensuring trade facilitation, establishing regular channels for feedback to address challenges proactively, and leveraging technology to streamline processes.
Sister freight forwarding associations were also present to share in solidarity with CUBAG.
Let us continue to work together, support each other, and strive for excellence in all we do. Let us build on our strengths, learn from our weaknesses, and forge a brighter future for our industry, country, and ourselves.
The need to collaborate to achieve a collective goal, for example, in the recent shipping line demonstration. Number 2, the need to be aware of key stakeholder laws and regulations covering our activities. For example, the customs law. There's a need for us to know very much about it.
In her closing remarks, the outgoing General Manager, Marketing and Corporate Affairs at the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Esther J.B. Donko, who represented the board chairman of GPHA, Isaac Osei, assured CUBAG of GPHA's continued support.
Once again, I assure you that our doors are always open. And we are also very interested in the fact that you want to look at the innovative ways. My brother from you said AI, want to look at all these things, the modern technologies that are coming in to ensure that our clearance in our ports are speedy, and that will also reduce the cost for the importers and exporters that are mutual customers.
The Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders has held its 27th annual general meeting with key discussions on the evolving role of freight forwarders in the context of global trade dynamics, particularly in relation to the African Continental Free Trade Area. The Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Michael Luguje, urged freight forwarders to prioritize transparency by accurately declaring the contents of all imported cargo. According to him, such practices will foster trust between freight forwarders and customs officials, making the clearance process smoother and faster.
About 2-3 weeks ago, we were with the Commissioner General, and she says, look, well, don't compare me to another country, because my country is peculiar. Every country is unique. You loosen the belt a bit, and people will take advantage and mess up the country. And I was trying to tell her that, look, we are growing as a country and we are improving. Only for the next day, for it to be in the news, that somebody imported cargo declared as personal effects, and there were ammunitions in it. So when I read that, I said, okay, so Commissioner General was right after all. Why must you do that? Why will you do that? You should declare the contents of everything you are importing to the country, so that customs can trust you. Once customs trust you that, look, whatever you said you have in there, even if they waste their time to open it, it will be the same. If they scan it, it will be the same. Over time, they will trust you and say that, look, we can facilitate and say maybe 40 or 50% of containers will be scanned. The rest can move out, and we believe everything is correct as declared.
Michael Luguje also underscored the need for a strong partnership between freight forwarders and truck owners, stressing that only roadworthy trucks should be allowed to transport cargo to ports.
But there's an interesting part. The truck that spoiled in the scanner, that was a mechanical issue. There was another one that, the fuel was finished in the scanner. I mean, and the question is, so what happened when the driver was coming to the port load? Please, if we don't deal with these issues, after will come, but the producer cannot produce more because he does it. And we are not able to ensure we get the facilitation that is needed to move the cargo to the marketplace.
A private legal practitioner, Dr. Emmanuel Kofi Imbia, called for a stricter enforcement of customs sanctions to deter traders who fail to fully declare their cargo.
I think it must be impressed upon them that we need to move forward. I have done some studies, I've checked with some other places. The most important thing to do is your sanction regime. Your sanction regime. In places like Singapore, what you just spoke about, if ammunition is found in a container and it is found out that it belongs to you, the sanction regime that is applied is deterrent, and no one would dare do it again.
He urged the industry to adapt benchmarking and best practices, emphasizing that Ghana is not an island.
So you can't say that we won't benchmark against any other country because we are unique. You can't be unique in that sense. You can't. The practices of what is done in your domain are also the practices that is done in other domains. We have been to the Rotterdams, we have been to the Singapores, we have been to Houston, we've been to all the ports. And there is something that is a common thread in these places. So wherever you find a common thread, you cannot say that you are an island. You cannot.
The president of GIFF, Stephen Ajokache, urged members to stay informed about both local and international regulatory changes, as well as the emerging trends of the fourth industrial revolution. He emphasized that staying ahead of these developments is essential for guiding clients through complex trade dynamics and ensuring the success of the freight forwarding industry.
As we gather to discuss the pivotal role of freight forwarders in the African Continental Free Trade Area, I am reminded of the wise words: a smooth logistics chain is like a good marriage. It's all about delivery, communication, and no surprises. Today, we'll explore how to make after a reality, not just a romantic notion.
There were some solidarity messages from stakeholders who underscored the important role freight forwarders play in the clearance chain.
As we leverage the after, we must prioritize capacity building and training for our freight forwarders by equipping them with the necessary tools and knowledge. We empower them to perform their roles more effectively, ultimately enhancing our position in the global market.
To overcome the challenges, freight forwarders must work together, share knowledge and best practices across Africa, and collaborate with other stakeholders in the logistics industry in other African countries so that we can together work and make the African trade area become more viable and resilient.
The International Ship and Port Facility Security Code, also known as ISPS Code, established by the International Maritime Organization, mandates port authorities and security stakeholders to implement robust systems for risk assessment, threat detection, and response. These measures are intended to ensure the safety of maritime trade and transport against evolving security threats. In line with this, stakeholders at Ghana's ports have demonstrated their continued commitment to upholding and enhancing security standards as prescribed by the ISPS Code. The Port of Tema last Tuesday hosted another security drill to test the interoperability of designated personnel in managing potential safety and security threats. The exercise involved lead personnel from the Health, Safety, Security, Environment and Monitoring departments of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Other participants included representatives from the Ghana Navy, Marine Police, and Meridian Port Services. Participants engaged in simulated scenarios, including a drowning incident and an unauthorized entry attempt into the port's restricted zone by local fishermen. The drill leveraged advanced surveillance systems and coordination protocols to evaluate the team's capacity to identify, respond to, and neutralize threats effectively. The harbour master at the Port of Tema, Captain Bramo Tewia, also serves as the Port Facility Security Officer, also known as PFSO, and incident commander for the ISPS Code implementation.
Yes, now we are going to collate, now we have findings and then recommendations. So myself, being the PFSO and DPFSO, that's PSM, we are going to put our heads together, have a meeting. Probably we will include port and safety manager also to work on the findings and recommendations that will help us to improve our port safety.
Captain Tevia emphasized the importance of continuous improvement.
So these are the gaps we are going to work on. If there's an emergency, crowd control, how to raise alarm to get the person quickly out of that danger. Yes, and then education also. From the first scenario, they should have halted the operation. There's something, somebody is dying, and then you are discharging fish. No, we all have to be part. Raise an alarm, whatever help you can quickly render, or assistant, you can quickly render to save the person. Yes, but they were working because there wasn't any good supervision.
All right, so those were happenings in the port and shipping industry during the week. It's now time for us to take a look at the word or phrase of the day. And remember, the word or phrase of the day has been fashioned to bring you up to speed with the terminologies and jargons we use in the shipping industry. Today's phrase is set point. Set point.
Set point. Set point refers to specific temperature that a refrigerated container has been said to keep. Ideally, the set point and the actual temperature should be identical throughout the voyage.
All right, welcome back. So tonight we are zooming into a discussion proper tonight, and tonight we are exploring Ghana's fisheries sector through the lens of a fisheries expert. And this sector is bedeviled with a lot of challenges. What usually comes to mind promptly is IUU, illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing. There are also issues related to environmental degradation, governance gaps, and so on and so forth. And a lot of effort has gone into it by both government and private sector and players in the industry to try and mitigate some of these situations. But how far have we come as a country in our quest to bring about some element of sustainability as far as our fisheries culture or fisheries sector is concerned? So tonight we happened to chance upon a fisheries expert who recently outdoored a book, and it's called Bits and Pieces. This man has worked with the Fisheries Commission for some time, for a very long time. I would just want to be a bit specific. In fact, he's been a fisheries regional monitoring, control and surveillance expert for the Fisheries Committee for West and Central Gulf of Guinea. He's worked as regional director for the Fisheries Commission in Takoradi. He's also worked as director monitoring, control and surveillance at the Fisheries Commission. And he's also worked at some point at the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, that's FAO, as Assistant Programs Officer. It goes on and on and on, and so it gives me pleasure this evening, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce to us our guest in the person of Mr. Godfred Beidu Tibu, who is a Fisheries Monitoring, Control and Surveillance Expert. Good evening, sir, and welcome to Iron Port.
Good evening. Good evening to
our viewers. Absolutely. Great. All right.
Thank you for inviting me to this auspicious program.
Thank you, sir.
Iron Port.
Thank you, Mr. Mr. Tibu. First of all, tell us about Bits and Pieces. What was the motivation that got you? What inspired you to write about the fisheries sector in Bits and Pieces?
Okay. Yeah, as you have indicated, I've worked in the sector since 1989. That is quite some time.
Right. So this is your camera. The light is on. So you look into it as you speak. Yes, please.
Right. So what I was doing whilst I was working was to document some of the important things that were happening day to day. When it becomes necessary, I would get them published in the newspapers, or recently when we have, how do you call it? I will publish online.
Right.
So this is what I have been doing, and I've done so many articles on fisheries, on the environment, governance, some politics, economics, as and when it becomes necessary. And when I retired, I decided that why don't I put together all these articles?
Right.
Yeah, I know when people read them, they found them interesting. So I decided that I'll put them together in a book. So Bits and Pieces tells us that this is coming from various topics.
Right.
It's not just one thing that I'm talking about. And then in the fisheries sector, Bits and Pieces, as you have already indicated, we now have a decline as far as fisheries is concerned.
Right.
So Bits and Pieces, instead of having whole fish, now it looks like we have fish, bits and pieces. And that is why we need to take a good look at how best we can restore our fisheries sector, such that it becomes, useful to the economy. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'm sure in the course of your work, you would have at some point observed the fact that we're having declining species, and that's how come you drew the conclusion
Yeah.
That we are not having the fishes whole now, but in bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so bits and pieces, I'm right to say it's a compendium of the articles that you put together in your working career in the fisheries sector.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so some of the topics are in the abundance of water, which talks about water.
Yes.
And how we use water and how we have also abused, water.
Right.
You find even a topic on child trafficking in the fishery sector.
Right.
Tossed between fishing communities. I have a chapter, is it shark or dynamite? This was a situation I encountered whilst I was regional director in Takoradi,
Western region, yeah.
where somebody got wounded, when he was using dynamite to fish.
Wow.
He got to the hospital and then he told the doctors that he had been, attacked by a shark. It's a very serious thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very serious, because he was seriously wounded.
Yes.
He had lost a hand,
wow,
etc. Wow. So I picked it up and I felt I should let people know about know what is happening.
Absolutely.
Psycho, we have all, talked about psycho for about so many years.
Yes.
Currently, the Ministry of Fisheries has tried to put a stop to it.
Yes.
But when I was a fisheries officer, it was a very hot topic.
Right.
So you find two topics on, three topics even on psycho. Psycho is sacrilege, and then site, selling our fishing rights. And then the last one is don't bring psycho back.
Right.
Don't bring it back.
Right.
Because it was detrimental as far as the fisheries sector, was concerned.
Right.
Ghana went into, a yellow card.
Yes.
2013.
Yes.
And that was when I got to the Monitoring, Control and Surveillance Division. And it was tough for us. I remember at that time, somebody in the port, told me that it had even affected, trade.
Right. Import and exports.
Import and export. So that was the extent to which, the
economy was ravaged
could go.
Yeah.
So I've written about it.
Yes.
And it's unfortunate that, as we speak, Ghana has a second yellow card, which it is grappling, with.
Oh, we have one at the moment?
At the moment,
I thought
since
they had
2020,
it. Okay.
Since 2021. The first one was 2013 to 2015, then we had the green restored. But currently there is one from 2021 which is still, work is still ongoing as far as, to get Ghana
What
out
do we
of
need
it.
to do to get out of this as a country?
Yeah, fisheries is not only domestic, it's international. So you must meet international obligations. Your own laws, you must meet them.
Right.
Yeah. So when you are not meeting them, it affects your status internationally.
Right. Yes.
And, according to UNCLOS, the fish in your water belongs to everybody.
Yes.
So anybody can take, action. And this is what the EU has been doing, the European Commission has been doing.
Yeah.
They have been sanctioning countries, especially those that they trade with, when they fall foul of their own law and that of international.
Yes.
So that is how we have got the yellow cards. And to come out of it, it means that there are a set of measures that you have to meet.
Right.
Yeah, there's a set of measures. The first one, we had to review our laws. So quickly we had to do an amendment to the Fisheries Act. We had the Act 880, and then we also had the LI 2217, which was a regulation, amendment regulation. There were a few things that we did. to get us out of the yellow card at that time.
Yes.
I think currently what they are looking at is to review the entire fisheries law, and that is still being done. I think it has progressed considerably.
Yeah.
So that is being done, and I hope that when that is finished, I believe that the grain will be restored, back to Ghana.
Right. So do we foresee us having a grain in a short term, or you think that it might take some time, given the fact that we received it in 2021, if I got you right?
Yeah, it depends on how serious the country takes it.
Right.
The first one, it took 2 years
to be able to ameliorate it,
and then
the situation
it was resolved.
Yes.
But this one since 2021, so we are entering perhaps the fourth year.
Yeah.
And Ghana is not the only country that has gone under a yellow card.
Yeah.
There are, I've seen recently even Senegal.
Okay.
Liberia is under a yellow card, and I think Cameroon is also under a yellow card. And you may end up with a red if you are not able to do.
So under red, what's the situation like?
No, what the yellow is a warning, just like yellow card in football.
Yes.
It's a warning, and when you are warned, it means you have to play,
very carefully, cautiously,
very
absolutely,
cautiously.
yes.
Yeah. So when you have a yellow card in fisheries, it means that you have to be cautious the way you go about your fisheries.
Yes.
There are a few things that you have to do, and if you do them, you can easily come out of it.
You're right.
But if that delays, for too long, it means that, and then you continue to even exacerbate the
practice,
issues,
sure.
then, I mean, a red card will be, issued. And that means that, you cannot trade.
Right. You can't export.
Trade. Even, you cannot export at all. Now, when you are exporting, there's a lot of scrutiny.
Yeah.
There's a lot of scrutiny. But when you have a red, it means that it affects your trade, seriously.
Right.
And you may not be able to trade at all with EU as far as fish is concerned.
Right.
And a country like Ghana, which does a lot of tuna export, for instance.
Yes.
When we get there, that will not be too good
for us.
For us. It will affect, jobs. It will affect
absolutely
a whole lot of things.
So that brings me to my next question, which has to do with how significant the fishery sector is to the Ghanaian economy. You just mentioned jobs.
Yeah.
We talked about exports.
Ghana is...
And that also means that we would have some foreign, exchange.
Yeah, Ghana traditionally is a fishing country. We've been fishing for over 400 years.
Right.
And it is interesting to note that, along the West African coast, even as far as Angola, you find Ghanaian fishing communities, which have established for so many years, for so many years. So Ghana traditionally is a fishing, nation.
Right.
And for that matter, you have a lot of people engaged in the sector.
Right.
What we say is that about 10% of the population, 10% of the population, now we are about 330 plus million. So now you are talking about 3 million people who directly or indirectly, extract their livelihoods from, the sector. So jobs and then incomes, because fishermen go fishing, they bring fish to sell, fishmongers buy the fish, they turn, into various products.
Yes.
People buy fresh fish and export. These are jobs. There are other ancillary jobs like those who are building the boats, those who are, repairing, machines, those who are, selling nets.
Yeah.
It's a very big,
chain,
big, industry.
Yeah.
And when you take fish, Ghanaians also like fish.
Yeah.
I think we eat fish above the average per capita as far as FAWs is concerned. So we eat a lot of fish from the coast to the hinterland,
Do you have any statistics on that to inform us?
I think Ghana is about 20 to 25 kg per capita.
Per capita.
And that is above the 14 kg as far as FAO statistics are concerned.
Right.
So, nutritionally we benefit from fish, economically we benefit from fish, and culturally, many coastal communities have their homo war and all those, tied, to fisheries.
Yes.
So it is very important. It is part and parcel, of Ghanaians.
Yeah.
So it is something that we cannot, joke with it.
Absolutely.
I mean, we need to work very hard, to protect, the resource.
Absolutely.
And all of us, including consumers of fish, we must, take interest that we need to protect, the resource because 10% of the population depend on it.
Wow.
Then all of us also eat the fish. So that is something that we need to, seriously protect.
Yes. All right. So you mentioned one issue in your preamble that has to do with child trafficking. One of the articles that are published. How rife is it at the moment?
Yeah, it has existed. Maybe as far as we have had fisheries. And what happens is that you find it more in the inland.
Right.
On the Volta Lake, for instance. And, fish is seasonal.
Yes.
So when it is out of season in the marine, you find fishermen moving into the inland.
Yes.
And in the inland, the dynamics are different. On the Volta Lake, we have trees.
Yes.
In the water.
Yes.
Because
the trumps.
In forming the lake, there were forests, and then the forests were inundated.
Yes.
So there are trees, stumps still standing in the lake. So when fishermen go fishing and throw their nets, they get entangled. And when they get entangled, it requires that somebody goes down there in the water to
disentangle it.
To free the nets. And they find children more suitable. So there's a need for children.
Is it because of their weight or size?
Their size. So being fishermen children, they know swimming, they know diving to some extent, and now they are trafficked to somebody there. Maybe they are paid for, and there is evidence of that.
Right.
And these children work in fisheries, and when they do that, it means they don't go to school, they don't eat well. Their future, is jeopardized. So it is something that we need to understand properly and, make the effort to stop it.
Right.
Yeah, to stop it.
Right. So in the fisheries sector, are we able to draw a dichotomy between child labor and, child trafficking? What's the difference?
Yeah, child trafficking means you are moving somebody maybe against their will.
Right.
Against their will.
Their will, yeah.
And these are children, they are not yet up to when they should be employed.
Yes.
Now they get there, and now they cannot even negotiate anything.
Absolutely.
They just get there, and they say, oh, this is the man you are going to work with.
Yeah.
And the man takes the person.
Because the parents are taking the money already.
And that is taking the money already.
Guardian, so to speak,
and that is it. So that is against the children's
rights, fundamental
rights and will. And on top of that, they are denied education.
Yes.
They are denied health. These are remote places along the lake.
Yeah.
And, when you are sick, it depends.
Yeah.
If you get well, fine. If you don't get well. And I think there has been, situations where when these children dive and they get I mean, they drown.
Yes.
Sometimes they may not even
Find them, retrieve the bodies.
make the attempt
to retrieve
them.
Yeah.
So this is something that has gone on for some time, and it requires that we understand it and we take a good look at it.
How does this phenomenon affect the general industry in terms of our trade? I know that's one of the issues that the European Union and other international organizations look at. That if you are involved in child trafficking or child labor in your sector, you are not allowed to do business. I mean, you are warned, and sanctions are brought up against you.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes I think that it shouldn't even take somebody from outside. It should be ourselves. It should be ourselves. I mean, how do you want to treat your own child? So if you are eating fish, now you begin to think, how was this fish caught?
Absolutely.
And then when we begin to trace, you find that sometimes, the fish was caught illegally, and it is also tainted with, these human rights abuses, child labor, and things like that. So we must begin to, assess.
Right.
We should not just, this is good fish, you eat it and you just eat it. We must begin to understand how the fish was caught, how the fish, and these illegalities, not only affecting humans, but affecting the fish also.
Absolutely.
Affecting the fish also. In the artisanal, in the canoe fishery, in the semi-industrial fishery, you find the use of small mesh nets. You find the use of explosives, chemicals, to fish. So when you are eating fish, perhaps you need to understand where that fish is coming from. How was the fish caught? If it was caught with chemicals, explosives, I've explained how a fisherman, got,
Dynamite,
maimed.
I'll come back to that.
Yes. You must begin to understand that, yes, when I'm enjoying the fish, then I must be thinking about, the fish. I must be thinking about the people who catch the fish. I must be thinking about how, the fish, was caught. In the other sectors like the trawl sector, I've talked about psycho. Until recently, psycho was rife. And psycho was just, trawler operators who, go out there to fish, but then target, small pelagics, juvenile fish, and then transship these to, specialized canoes. And it went on for a very long time, and it also affected, the fish stocks, especially the pelagics. So currently, fishermen complain they don't get fish. Even when we have closed season and the season is open, they still don't get fish because a lot has happened, to the fish, to the extent that now you cannot get the fish. You cannot get the fish, and you find government subsidizing fishermen to be able to go fishing, but these don't, produce the fish. I will describe that as even harmful, subsidies, because it goes to increase the capacity. You have many of them able to go fishing. And then when they go fishing, because there's competition for the little fish, now they have to use illegal methods also, to fish. And you may also find that the subsidies don't even sometimes end up in the sector. They may be, diverted into other, areas.
Right, so let's come back to the issue of the dynamite. You mentioned chemicals, explosives, and then sometimes even lights. And
light fishing.
Yes. And I almost exploded with laughter when you mentioned that the guy went to the hospital and lied that he was attacked by a shark or something like that. It's pure, I mean, you endanger your life this way.
Yes.
And you wouldn't even tell the truth.
No.
You go to tell lies so that you can get treatment, and then you perhaps go back. And then, but for the fact that you lost your hand, you would have gone back to the same practice. How rampant are these, practices?
Yeah.
Light fishing,
Yeah,
explosives,
yeah.
dynamites.
There are some communities
chemicals, yeah.
that I don't want to mention them here, but in the Western region, when you go, you begin to find people, limping.
Right.
People who have
They've
lost
lost
their
their
limbs. People with, scars, on their faces, things like that. And somebody told me that they swear, an oath to not tell the truth.
Not to disclose.
Not to disclose. So even when
the fellow is dying.
Even when this particular case happened, we visited the community, and everybody was
they were tight-lipped.
Tight-lipped. Nobody wanted to say anything. This guy was in hospital saying that, I was attacked by a shark. But when you check, Ghana has not had any shark attack for over a century.
Yeah.
We have not even had it.
Yeah.
And when you say you had been attacked by a shark, I mean, we need to understand that properly.
Yeah.
Because elsewhere, they take shark attacks very seriously.
Yes.
because it is not you alone that the shark.
You are not the only endangered I mean, a lot of people.
Other people.
Using,
so let us understand it. What shark are we talking about? Where did it happen? So that we take the necessary steps to protect other people from shark, bites. But seriously, as the doctors confirmed, this was caused, these were wounds caused by, explosives, shrapnel, things like that. But they wouldn't tell the truth.
Absolutely.
But it is rampant.
Yeah.
It is rampant.
Wow.
I remember when I was in Takoradi, we were, national security was informed officially, and then they had to come back to us because we were on the ground for us to do some investigations, a whole lot of things. Somebody reported to them that this was going on. It was not good in their community. It was destroying the fishery and things like that. But when we did investigations, you will not find anything. And we were also told that how do they get the
dynamite,
the explosives?
Yeah, sure.
We're told that when the women go to the hinterland where there is mining, they have contacts where they get the explosives. Put them. Can you imagine that they are in a trotro and they have an explosive in their baskets and traveling long distances, and
endangering everybody's
life. And then they bring this, to their husbands and their business partners in the fisheries to use. So it's something that is very rampant and something that is also clandestine. It requires that we understand it properly and protect everybody.
So when you use the explosives, it means the main aim is to kill the fish?
Just
kill the fish?
Because you are not catching fish with your net.
Yes.
So what you do is they throw the explosives. They do a combination with light. Light is an attractant.
Yes.
Just like insects will come to light. Yes. So the fish also are attracted, to light. So they drop powerful lights in the water, that is the light fishing.
Yes.
And then that draws the fish.
So
when they know a school of fish have gathered, now they put in the explosive and then it kills, all of them. It would, they will pick what they want. And then it will kill everything, including juveniles, and they'll pick what they want and bring it to the market.
Wow.
And then they will not also tell you that the fish was caught using explosives.
Right. Okay, so this is Eye on Port here on Metropolitan Television. Tonight we are having an interesting discussion. We are exploring Ghana's fisheries sector through the lens of a fisheries expert in the person of Mr. Godfred Bedutibu, who is monitoring, control, and surveillance expert. He's worked with the Fisheries Commission of Ghana. He's worked, with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations and, elsewhere. I mean, he's an expert in his own right. He's an astute industry person who recently came up with a book. He told us bits and pieces. That's the name of the book. And this is a compendium of articles he wrote whilst he was in his working life. And we are sharing some insights on the sector and what our challenges are. When we return, we're going for a break. When we return, we'll take a look at what he thinks are our foremost challenges as far as the fisheries sector in the country is concerned. Please stay with us.
Good energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP. Available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP, Wufilia, huh? Wubefi. Goil, good energy. Ja, dia.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is, you still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302-246-319 or 0243-690-492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
All right, welcome back. This is Iron Port once again, and tonight we are exploring the fisheries sector in Ghana through the lens of a fisheries guru, our fisheries expert, and the person of Mr. Godfred Tibu, who is a monitoring, control, and surveillance expert in the fisheries sector. Like I said, he's worked with the Food and Agriculture Organization, he's worked elsewhere, and then also with the Ghana Fisheries Commission rising through the ranks to become a director of monitoring, control, and surveillance. And also at one point in time, he was the regional director for the Fisheries Commission in the Western region. Mr. Chibu, Bedi Chibu, let me find out from you. I said when we return from the break, I was going to find out from you what you think are Ghana's foremost challenges in the fisheries sector. If you can list 2 or 3 of them, and let's see what they are and what we can do to, stem the tide.
I think one of the key challenges, overcapacity. When I say overcapacity, it means we have too many fishermen chasing.
Okay, too many fishermen. Please hold it. When I come, you continue from there. But I've been told by the production team that we can activate the phone line so that viewers can call in if they have any questions for you or if they want to contribute to the discussion. And the number to dial is 0245834980. It's right here on your screen. 0245834980. You can call it and then contribute to the discussion. And if you want to engage Mr. Bedi Chibu, he's also in the studios. You can do that. Yes.
Go on.
Yes, please.
All right. Right. Yeah, so I was talking about overcapacity, which means too many fishermen.
Right.
Too many boats chasing few fish.
Yes, in the sea. Yeah.
That is where we are now.
Do we have the numbers?
I think for the canoes,
yes,
we are talking about 14,000
canoes.
Yeah. But we can.
That's across coastal Ghana.
Yes, across the 4, coastal regions.
Yeah.
And we have not even brought in the inland, the Volta Lake, the other, So overcapacity, too many.
Yes.
What has happened over the years is that there has been, a drastic increase. A drastic increase in
the numbers.
Capacity, in the numbers. In the numbers. To the extent that now, if you look at how much fish we are landing, when you compare that to, let's say, 20 years ago,
yes,
that is about the same, quantity of fish quantity of fish.
Yes.
But now look at the number of fishermen, the number of boats that are catching the same quantity of fish as against the fish that was caught 20 years ago with fewer, boats.
Yes.
It means that as far as, productivity is concerned, that has declined very, very drastically because you have too many of them catching the same fish they were catching about 20 years ago. Profitability. I think they are doing business. They want, I said, fisheries, we get some livelihoods, incomes, and things like that. So when you have too many fishermen, it means whatever they are catching is small.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, the effort is the same. And even now, you have to travel, farther.
Yeah.
You have to travel
your
farther.
Expenses also
your expenses, as far as fuel, labor, etc., has increased. So what you are getting, is so small. And you find that government is subsidizing, as I've mentioned, fuel, for instance. And when you subsidize, they are happy. Perhaps they are not buying fuel at that, as everybody is buying. But then at the end of the day, that fuel does not produce more fish. Because it's a capacity thing. This room has a certain capacity. You can bring in people, but at a point, you can't continue to bring people in here.
That's true.
So the same applies to, our oceans. They don't expand. I mean, they are not expanding so that you say that, over the years it is expanding, so the quantity of fish will expand. That is not the case. We have issues of climate change, for instance, which, work against, fish production because temperatures are increasing in the ocean. The tides and all those things, is because the temperatures are increasing and it's affecting the fish. So the fish cannot produce as previously. So if fishermen population have increased, Now the fish themselves are not producing enough.
Yeah.
It means what they are getting at the end of the day, so there is overfishing.
Absolutely.
Overfishing. We are catching more than necessary. That will allow the fish to, rejuvenate, themselves. And that is why there has been the need for close season.
Yeah. I was going to come to that. Your views on the close season.
We've had close season since 2016. And, all the fleets,
yes,
artisanal, that is the canoes,
yes,
the semi-industrial, the trawlers, and even tuna.
Yes.
Tuna, they also have a close season in January and February of every year.
Yes. So we'll come back to the close season. And but I understand we have Mr. Kwesi Mensah, who is calling us from Kasua. Good evening, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, sir.
Please, how are you doing?
We are well, by His grace. We hope you are doing well too.
We are fine.
Great.
We are.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, I am enjoying the program, and I want to really congratulate you.
Thank you, sir.
Actually, I'm in agribusiness. Yes, I'm in agribusiness, and looking at what your resource personnel.
Yes.
What your resource personnel is explaining over there.
Yes, sir.
Then I think we should really empower the people to grow their own fish. I'm explaining. They can venture into catfish production, for instance, because this can help. Because the growth of our population.
Yes.
Yeah, as we are getting, a time will come, the fish even in our seas cannot be sufficient for us.
Yeah.
So to alleviate that, I think we have to really, the ministry has to do well to also promote like domestic farming of fisheries like catfish, like tilapia, so that at least at the household level, people can also grow what they need.
Right.
I think it will put less pressure on the, how do you call it, with the problem that we are facing.
Right. Awesome. Brilliant contribution there. Thank you very much, Mr. Kwesi Mensah from Kasua. Yes, and I think he has, the suggestion is quite brilliant, because nowadays I think the catfish farming is something that's picking up. Initially, I think tilapia used to be the age, but now I think that the catfish is coming up much more strongly.
We want even other species.
And that's quite expensive. There's a lot of money in it.
Yes.
You go to buy one catfish at 200 Ghana cedis.
Oh.
A sizable one, 200 Ghana cedis, they prepared for you. And you can, so, I mean, imagine the kind of money people are making from if you have...
It has to be promoted.
Absolutely.
And I think the ministry, the Fisheries Commission, they are doing that.
Right.
The problem with aquaculture is that, now it's not like wild fish, which is in its environment, it is feeding on itself. And
you would have to feed it. Yeah.
You have to provide, you have to look for a space, etc. But it is doable. It is something that is doable. But it also has environmental implications, because what you feed the fish with is fish.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you find that you have to go and look for fish again, and then turn the fish into fish meal, and then feed your aquaculture fish.
Yes.
So we need to look at how best we can manage that, so that we don't, destroy the environment.
Absolutely.
Again.
Right.
It requires a lot.
Sure. Let's go on the phone lines once again. We have Samuel from Botiano. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Awesome. Please shoot.
Yeah. My issue is the close season. Close season come, they let the patrolling people who are bigger vessels go to the fishing.
Can you speak up a bit, sir?
I'm saying that they let the patrolling, the bigger vessels.
Patrolling.
Maybe patrolling.
Right.
But the smaller one doesn't go. Then that is worrying me about that thing. And moreover, the season they're supposed to get more fish. That season they close the sea. So that's my problem.
The last bit, I didn't get it. Did you get it, Mr. Bedu Chibu? Can you come up with the last bit, please?
I'm saying that
yes.
The close season, they let the bigger vessel go to catch the fish.
The close
but the
season.
smaller vessel, they are not going. You understand me? But
hello, Sammy?
Hello?
Yes. Are you done? We can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
All right.
I think you.
Yeah, I got some snippets
yes.
of it. But I think he's talking about the close season
yes.
Vis-a-vis the bigger vessels.
Vessels, absolutely,
and
yes.
As I mentioned, all the fleets now participate in the close season.
Right.
For this year, for instance, the canoe fishermen, the semi-industrial, I think they had theirs July, the month of July.
Right.
The entire period of July.
Yeah.
1 month. And then for the trawlers, I think theirs was from July, 1 month, and then August.
Right.
I think so. It was 2 months.
Okay.
I'm mixing the dates.
Yeah.
But everybody is participating.
Sure.
The trawlers are participating. The canoe fishermen, the semi-industrial fishermen, they are participating.
Yes.
As far as the National Fisheries Management Plan is concerned, as I said, we've had the close season since 2016.
Yes.
We had the first National Marine Fisheries Plan in 2015, the first one, 2015.
Yes.
And the plan said, there should be even a gradual increment from 1 month to about 4 months.
Okay.
And we must understand it. Yes.
Okay, we must understand. Hold it. When we come, we continue from there, sir. We understand. We have Francis Aggrey from Teshi. Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Very well, thank you, sir, Mr. Aggrey. I hope you are doing well too.
I enjoyed the program.
Awesome. Please go ahead.
I want to know how the. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. I'm fine, sir.
I want to know the fish you buy at the market and cold store.
Yes.
Every day you go up, every day you go. So I want to know why.
All right, he's talking about the price of if you go to the cold store to purchase fish.
It's because generally we have prices of almost everything going up. Not only in Ghana, but if the fish has to be imported, freight charges, even the price of fish internationally has gone up, and transportation in every form has, electricity for keeping the fish, in the fridges, everything has gone up. Labor has also gone up. So it affects the price of fish, whether it is imported, whether it is produced locally. So that is why we think that what we have, we need to be able to protect them, so that we don't go too far away to bring fish. When they are protected, we can have them in abundance.
Right.
Now there's a decline, but if we're able to do the close seasons well, we stop using illegal, fishing, then it means we are able to get the fish from our own waters, good sizes, etc.
So let's go to the central region. We're going to commend that this time around, and we're going to speak to Theophilus. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
I would like to find out from Mr. Kibu concerning issues in terms of livelihood that can be established in the coastal areas to ensure that at the end of the day, you'll be able to reduce the number of people who go to fishing.
Yes.
Because from the explanation, the number of people who are now fishing are more than. So this means that there should be alternative livelihood that should be sustainable.
Right.
Else, it will continue like that, and the population too is increasing. So, per his experience, what contribution will he make in terms of establishment of livelihood that will be sustainable in all the coastal areas, so that at the end of the day, people can rather move into those areas instead of all of them moving to the fishing, moving to the sea.
Brilliant.
Thank you very
much, Theophilus. We are grateful to you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
From Commander, yes.
Alternative livelihoods in fisheries.
Yes.
It's a very difficult thing as far as fishermen are concerned.
Yes.
Because fishermen, like they are fishing, they always want to fish. But as I've explained, there's a limit.
Right.
Now the numbers are such that even if they go fishing, they don't catch fish.
Right.
So we must be looking at alternative, livelihoods.
Yes.
But what is it that we can do? My experience, I've seen fishermen in Zanzibar, for instance, using their canoes for tourism. Using their canoes for tourism. In Ghana, we have forts, along, the coastal communities.
Yes.
People drive by car to maybe Elmina, to Cape Coast to visit maybe Elmina Castle or whatever. But we can do similarly underwater.
Right.
We can do similarly.
We can do similarly on the water.
On the water.
When we continue from there. But let's go to Teshi once again and pick Mr. Kwao. Good evening, sir. Mr. Kwao, good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Well done. I want to join your program.
Please, yes, you are on the program already.
Please, I said, let's assume that everyone is farming. If everyone is farming, because of that, we can't get food. No, I don't feel that is the way. I feel that the Ministry of Aggrey is there. We have to work for it. We should not depend on the ocean fishes. No. Let the Ministry of Aggrey, let us get our own fishing port. You see, everywhere inland fishing, so that we can grow it. When we grow when we grow more fish, we'll get fish to eat. You see, because the ocean is for the whole world, and the fishes, they travel. You see, the fishes, they travel.
Yes.
When they come to your yard, you get them. When they don't come, you don't get them. But when we fish, we make our own fishing pond inland, and we are fishing on it. We'll get fish all the time.
Yeah.
See, so that is what I want to continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kwa. We're grateful to you for your call.
Yeah, so he's also talking about aquaculture.
Yes.
Farming the fish.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we should be able to do that, expand it.
Right.
And, I mean, you can have a pond, even in this room where we are.
Yes.
You can have a tank with water with a fish in.
Absolutely.
There's no problem about it.
Yeah.
I think there must be a way to be able to do it. The same way maybe government subsidizes, let's say, fuel. I think government can also subsidize, aquaculture, so that people can go into aquaculture. And then, as he's saying, we can have a lot of fish coming from aquaculture.
Right. Yeah. We'll continue, but let's do some messages now, because we are running out. We have barely 5 minutes to go. This one is from Aku in Keta. Aku says, hello, I am Port. This conversation is very enlightening. It's inspiring to see a book like Bits and Pieces Connect Ghana's Fisheries Challenges with Actionable Solutions. I hope this sparks real change in policy and community actions. This one says, kudos to Mr. Bedu Chibu for this revealing documentary. He just touched on overcapacity. What pragmatic steps can the new government take to address this issue of overcapacity without hurting the livelihood of Ghanaians? And I wonder if closed season is a sufficient remedy. Mike in Tema sent in this one. Would you prefer a response before we continue?
Yeah, closed season is important. No, it's a conservation and management measure.
Right.
It's just like you are sick. Doctor says, take this medicine.
Yeah.
But the medicine, though it will help you to live, it has side effects.
Yeah.
So whilst we want to do close season, let's understand the issues surrounding close season.
Yeah.
You know, how can we support these fishermen
Yeah.
to be able to stay away from fishing?
Right.
Because if they don't stay long, you don't see the effect.
Absolutely.
Even now, the Fisheries Committee for the West Central Gulf of Guinea is, getting the other, neighboring countries to also, go into close season.
Yeah.
So this year's, for instance, I think Cote d'Ivoire was part of it, and Togo was part of it, because the fish is shared, the stocks are shared. So we cannot do away with close season.
Yes.
It's very, very, very necessary to revive our fisheries. But then it comes with, these other issues which the government must pay attention to. And then fishermen must also stop using illegal fishing.
Yeah.
Because you were using illegal fishing before the close season.
Yes.
Now, after 1 month, 2 months, you go and attack them again with the same illegal fishing.
Yeah.
So when do we expect the fish,
Right.
to rejuvenate
Absolutely.
for us to catch them?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. This one says, hearing about the personal reflections in the book makes it even more relatable. The human element you've shared, Mr. Bedichibu, is a powerful reminder of how these issues affect all of us.
Yeah.
Best wishes on this book, Bits and Pieces. How can I get one? Yes.
Yeah. The book has just come out. What I'm doing now is you contact me.
Right.
And then you can have it.
Okay.
I'm working to get them into the bookshops.
Yes.
I believe that as we have talked about it today,
Yes.
It will become easier. I thought it was easy
Yeah.
getting your book into the bookshops.
Absolutely.
It's not
But
that easy.
the dynamics
but
are different.
for now, you can contact me.
Okay, so the production team will furnish him with your number.
With my
And
number.
I'm sure he would give you a call. That's Matthew in Ashalibotre.
All right.
Joe from Teshi says, I've seen parts of your book, Mr. Bedi Chibu. You mentioned the impact of illegal mining on... Oh, come on, let me get this right. Yeah. I've seen parts of your book, Mr. Chibu Dako, Mr. Bedi Chibu. You mentioned the impact of illegal mining on marine ecosystems earlier. As a concerned Ghanaian, how do we balance the need for economic activities like mining with the protection of our environment and fisheries?
Yeah. I think one solution should not be a problem for... solution in one sector should not be a problem in another sector. I mean, there are rules, there are standards, there are whatever.
Absolutely.
For doing mining, for doing fisheries. And I believe that if those are followed, diligently, we should be able to mine without destroying our water bodies, and then we'll get the minerals, to support the economy.
Right.
Yeah.
Frank in Amasaman, that's the last message we're going to be taking. Frank in Amasaman, he says, Mr. Bejutibu, as someone who has worked with the Fisheries Commission for over 30 years, what do you think has been the biggest barrier to building the Commission's capacity to effectively implement policies and enforce regulations? And what practical steps can be taken now to strengthen its ability to manage Ghana's fisheries sustainably? That's the last one. You have barely 1 minute to profile a response and we wrap up.
Yeah, I think it's a human institution, so we need, one, to recruit, qualified, it's a science-based, the core business is science.
Yes.
Fisheries, zoology. Those are the things you need to understand fisheries.
Yeah.
So we need people with those skills, to be recruited into the organization.
Yes.
Fisheries is everywhere. So we need a lot more people into the fisheries commission. And then capacity building. While they are there, their capacities have to be built.
Absolutely.
I have worked in monitoring, control, and surveillance.
Yeah.
You know, how do you monitor the environment such that people don't do illegalities?
Absolutely.
It is a big thing that you have to do. You need equipment. You need interagency cooperation. You need funds. You need a whole lot of things. We've had situations where even observers, you know, sometimes get missing. You know, it's all part of making sure that we have a hold on fisheries.
Absolutely.
You know, but it is something that we need to work at.
Right.
Government has to invest because fish. I think according to World Bank, it says our fisheries, you know, is valued around $1 billion. $1 billion. So something that is valued at $1 billion, I think every year you should be able to spend about a quarter of $1 billion, you know, to make it work.
Exactly.
To make it work.
Awesome. All right. So Mr. Godfred Bedu-Sibu is monitoring, control, and surveillance expert in the fisheries sector. He's worked for the Fisheries Committee for the West Central Gulf of Guinea. He's worked at the Fisheries Commission, rising through the ranks to become director. And he's also worked for the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. He's the one we've had our discussion with, you know, exploring the Ghana fisheries sector and what we can do to get it right. We appreciate you, sir, for coming this evening. It's a beautiful conversation. I wish we could continue, but for time constraints, I'm pretty certain that some other time we shall continue with this conversation, and wish all the best with your book as well, Bits and Pieces. We're absolutely grateful. And at this juncture, I'll say a big thanks to our sponsors, Ghana Revenue Authority, GWEL PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, and Indeed Phoenix Insurance. Remember, the show is powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GPHA. We entreat you to watch the abridged version of Iron Port on Ghana Television on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. And remember, you have to keep watching the rest of our programs here on Metro TV. And God willing, next week, Sunday, we shall bounce back with another wonderful edition of Iron Port. My name is Kennedy Mona. Thank you so much for choosing us, and have a super week ahead. Good evening.